Adult Swim has officially announced that they have cut ties with co-creator of Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland, amidst domestic abuse allegations. Now, what does this mean for Rick and Morty? Because it is continuing, and Justin Roiland voices like half the characters or the important ones. So how are they going to continue this without him? What does this mean for Rick and Morty in general and the future of that? Let's go ahead and dive into this video, and then I will leave some opinions here. So here it is. Breaking. Justin Roiland will no longer be working on Rick and Morty, as Adult Swim is parting ways with the series co-creator following domestic abuse charges. According to a report from Deadline, production on the series will continue without Roiland. All right. So, and they even announced it officially on their accounts here. So Adult Swim has ended its relationship with Rick and Morty co-creator, executive producer, and voice actor Justin Roiland following the news that he had been charged with domestic violence. The network announced the decision in a tweet on Tuesday, just a couple of weeks after news of the charges came to light. The statement added that Rick and Morty will still continue and that the team is working on season 7. Deadline Hollywood first broke the news of Adult Swim cutting ties. So when reached by IGN, a Warner Media spokesperson had no further comment, saying that Adult Swim has ended its association with Justin Roiland. Additionally, Squanch Games, the game studios that Roiland founded and that released High on Life just last month, revealed in a statement later on Tuesday that Roiland had resigned from the company last week. Right here. So on Wednesday, Hulu also announced it would no longer be working with Roiland, who was co-creator and voice actor for the streaming platform's comedy Solar Opposites, which I love. I loved the first season. I started the second season and didn't finish watching it. It's stupid, but I did like it. As well as executive producer and voice actor on Koala Man. We have ended our association with Justin Roiland, 20th Television Animation and Hulu Originals, said in a joint statement. As previously reported, Roiland was charged in May 2020 with one felony count of domestic battery with corporal injury. And one felony count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, and or deceit. The charges were filed by an anonymous Jane Doe who alleged that the incident in question happened in January 2020. Roiland pleaded not guilty to the charges later that year. A number of pretrial hearings have already been held, with the case planned to reconvene on April 27th, according to NBC News, which first broke the news of the charges. Roiland voices the two titular characters, Rick and Morty, so it's currently unclear on how that will be handled. According to The Hollywood Reporter, there are plans to recast those roles. The outlet also reports that fellow co-creator Dan Harmon will now serve as sole showrunner of the hit series, which is still working its way through the mammoth 70-episode order it got in 2018. They reach out to him for comment, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, this is a lot to unpack here. I think I kind of have mixed feelings on it, because it's obviously, if all of this is true and all of this actually happened, then yeah, like, go ahead and get rid of the dude. But I don't know. I have not looked into all of the whatever's going on with this case. I haven't seen all the evidence, all this stuff. So I'm just over here neutral, not knowing what the heck's going on right now. And that tends to be a stance I like to take when I first hear of stuff. I think it's natural for a lot of us to emotionally react to something. It's human nature to emotionally react when we hear some sort of news or allegations or this, that, or the other. With anything, it's just human instinct to just immediately react a lot of times. But I think, and you see this so many times with a bunch of things, even where some sort of news will break. I mean, even look at what's going on with the Steven Crowder and Daily Wire stuff. I've been trying to be as neutral as possible with that, but that's a whole other topic. But mostly just because, like, I think it's sad that they're not getting along and that this turned into what it did. But initially, it's just like, okay, yeah, I initially wanted to jump on a side, but then I thought, okay, wait, I need to step back and wait this out, because like I said, it's so easy to just emotionally react to stuff, and and then later, hindsight, more evidence comes out, or you've had time to think of it. It's like, wait, maybe I shouldn't have jumped on one side or the other so quick. And so what people are saying here is, how can you continue without Justin Roiland? That's like taking Seth MacFarlane out of Family Guy. I'm outraged. I hope this is a joke. And this guy goes, bro really said he beat his wife. So what? You can still have him help the creator create the show. He didn't say that. He said, how can you continue without Justin Roiland? Okay. Which is exactly what he did say. I think that I don't see this succeeding without him personally, and I'm not nearly as well. I know that they can hire impersonators. There's a lot of people who can actually impersonate the voices of Rick and Morty very well, so I'm sure they can find someone similar enough to pull that off. But I don't know, like, it's already been going on for a crap ton of seasons anyway. I doubt it's still gonna hold its same flavor. Like, I loved the first season, thought it was hilarious. I haven't caught up with all the seasons, but you know, like most shows, even the really great ones, it's super rare that a show just can go on for that many seasons and maintain absolute amazingness. I mean, there's obviously some, but it's just not the most common thing in the world. So here we see allegations. That's all you need to cancel people nowadays. Probably the only thing that is keeping Adult Swim afloat. Enjoy tanking. I mean, that's a good point. Justin Roiland's co-created properties do seem to be kind of carrying Adult Swim. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. Josh here says, not even a conviction, just an allegation. Come on. We're really still doing this guilty until proven innocent crap. And then he says he hasn't been given a guilty verdict by anyone, but you can absolutely be fired for any allegation. No one wants you treading dog crap on the carpet, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's just some dangers with this, man. This is when you look what happened with Johnny Depp, for example. All right, Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard accusations. Johnny Depp got canceled. Johnny Depp got booted off of projects that he was supposed to be on, and then further evidence came to light. That whole lawsuit happened, and we saw a lot of compelling evidence to suggest that Amber Heard was the abuser in this case. Now with this, I have no earthly idea, and that's why I can't pick a side on it at this time. But I do think that you're setting a dangerous precedent whenever all you need is an accusation to cut someone off, especially someone of this magnitude and who had this much involvement and in this property, right? I don't think people would have just stopped watching. I think even just from a business perspective, I don't think this was necessarily a smart decision. I don't think people would have just quit watching altogether. I don't think that would have happened. I think that they should have just stayed hush. Maybe if they were going to release a statement, say, hey, we're going to do an investigation on this issue. We take domestic abuse very seriously, and we will be investigating this appropriately. Maybe, give him some temporary leave or something like that, but to just permanently cut ties with him while this is going on, and we're just in seemingly just an allegation stage, that is just dangerous, because then that leaves a lot of room for just anybody to be able to get canceled off of projects just because of all it takes is an allegation, right? And like I said earlier, if he actually did that, well then heck, go ahead, axe the guy off the project. But we don't know what happened. I can only take a neutral stance on this until we see more evidence on what actually happened. But this just reminds me of like Hollywood in general and the corruption that goes on in Hollywood. Is it possible that he is definitely some bad person who beat his wife. Yes, that's possible. I mean, people in Hollywood are some of the most corrupt people imaginable. So the allegations, if they were true, wouldn't necessarily surprise me. But also, that's a really big allegation to put on somebody. And I can't say, oh, yeah, I'm going to believe that this happened with that kind of accusation without sufficient evidence personally for me to judge on. So it's also possible that he didn't do it. Here you have somebody who's obviously successful. He's a co-creator of some big shows here, animated TV shows, and that puts a target on his back already, right? So this is just not, this is a very uncomfortable practice of just guilty until proven innocent. I don't like it. Again, we saw how that played out with Johnny Depp. What if he didn't take things to court? What if he didn't have the great lawyer that he did, and so on and so forth? It's just like this would keep going on, and we can't keep allowing cancel culture to win. We can't let that happen, because then all it takes is somebody with some sort of any ounce of wrong think, or just all it takes is somebody who wants to get revenge on someone over a personal beef to try to start throwing allegations out, and they don't even necessarily have to be true, and they can be punished for it. So this is just dangerous. I don't like that. And when you look at Hollywood in general too, I mean, how many people who have wrong think in Hollywood, or who try to expose Hollywood, or maybe have some sort of dirt on Hollywood, what happens to them? Then they get, they go crazy, they get ostracized, this, that, and the other. Okay, I don't even have to say names. Y'all know some of these people I'm talking about. And Hollywood as an industry is so extremely corrupt. You've got pervs, you got diddlers, you got the worst people imaginable within Hollywood. So to pretend like they actually care about a case of domestic abuse when, some of the biggest actors, producers, directors, investors, all this are some of the most despicable, disgusting people imaginable, doing unthinkable things that, goodness, we probably don't even have any remote idea of. So whenever Hollywood tries to virtue signal the entertainment industry in general, whenever they try to do something where it's just like, whoa, wait a minute, this was wrong, we're gonna cut this person off, especially when it's just allegations and no proof, that makes me suspicious. It just does. So again, yeah, I'm just pretty neutral on this. I don't know what happened. But I do think this was definitely premature. I think that they could have handled this a bit better, where it's just like, hey, we're waiting, we're doing an internal investigation, or we're waiting out to see the verdict, or we're waiting out to see more evidence. In the meantime, give them a temporary absence, of like, give them temporary leave, that, so on and so forth, all that sort of thing. But to just automatically go with the guilty before proven innocent, automatic guilty right out the gate, that's not a good practice. But I am curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Maybe you know more about this case than I do, but let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will catch you next time, and in the meantime, go boom.